Hello and good afternoon, everybody. This is the Fury of Dracula New Blood Tournament, and we are spectating a game between Five-Hid, I Miss It, and Snuffalupagus. Here in the commentating booth with me is Fangs of Fire, and we may be joined by Scott Sword soon, TBD. Yeah, Fangs, you're here commentating. What do you have to say for yourself?
What do I have to say for myself?
Yeah, it's something my grandpa would always.
That I am indeed here, and it is my pleasure to be so.
Oh, good.
As I truly enjoy it, I joining you in joining folks in the commentary booth,
Early
and
hires.
especially I'm extremely delighted to be able to join you for one considering Five-Hid, as he is among the newbies that I have taken. That I have quote unquote taken under my wing and helped quite directly.
Okay.
With practice matches, direct advice after games,
Nice.
between games and such.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I am not familiar with him at all. I've never played against him. I don't think I've even watched a game that he's played in. So this is going to be all new to me.
Well, to give you an idea, if you want me to, that is. Five-Hid is definitely. Five-Hid is an adequate Dracula. His first matches of the tournament, which were against Topher, I watched both, even though only the first one was recorded. It turned out between Five-Hid and Topher at the beginning of the tournament, and to be who is Dracula. Good, he wins. And I'm not joking that it was as simple as that. Neither of the two seem to be the best of hunters. At least seemed to be. It's been a while since then, of course, several weeks. So it is entirely possible that they have improved since then.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. That's one of the things that's interesting about this tournament is that we are seeing a lot of players, I think, improve pretty rapidly, even over the course of the tournament. Because like Snuffalupagus, for example, I think I've played him in one or possibly two games, but when I first played him, it was one of the very first digital edition games that he had ever played, and he knew the rules of the game, but he very clearly was not super familiar with the meta, with strategy, and so obviously, like as an experienced player against a player who's really not familiar with meta, it's pretty easy to win in that case. But
okay, that's not something you see every day.
Yeah,
not something you see every day.
It's an older meta, but it checks out, I guess. But anyway, the thing about him is that then I remember watching a later tournament game of his that he recorded and then without commentary, and then kind of went back with Scott Sword and did commentary on. And in that game, I could see both that he had improved quite a bit, and also that he was kind of referring to an earlier tournament game that I guess the two of them had both watched, and kind of calling back to mistakes that he had made in that earlier game. And it was just very obvious from the video that he was really paying attention and learning from his mistakes and improving pretty rapidly. So I haven't seen him recently, but yeah, he seems like he's getting a lot better.
I can echo with that, as I believe I co-commentated with, was it King on one of his games, and when I offered my advice to him after the match, since sadly he lost to Wormtalon, he consented, and it was clear that he had done his studies, and he played firmly and gave Wormtalon a decent challenge. A pretty solid challenge. So
yeah, that's pretty good for a new player.
So for a quote unquote newbie, he's actually a pretty solid player.
Yeah, the two kind of newbies that I've had the chance to encounter or kind of see how they play are Snuffalupagus and Altaris, and both of them I've kind of watched them improving significantly over the course of when they've been in here.
The thing is that Altaris is no newbie to the community at all.
Oh, is he?
In a sense, no, he simply hasn't competed yet. That's all. That's really all. Okay. He's been around for he's been around in the community for at least 4 to maybe even 6 months.
That long, really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Huh. Okay, well that explains some of it. But even still though, even despite that, I noticed like some earlier games, like maybe a month or two ago, that I played against him, versus where he is now, he's definitely improved quite a lot too. So definitely a player to watch.
One of the 3 losses I suffered was from him.
Nice.
But then again, but then again, I did successfully strike back.
Well, so.
But,
Yeah, in terms of the standings, Snuffalupagus just messaged me that he says, if my math is right, for me to go to the top group next round versus Wormtalon, I need to win as Dracula with at least 8 health, or 7 than he ties on IDS with Wormtalon. Whereas for 5 hit to go to the third highest group over Topher, he needs to either win or lose with Dracula having 11 health or less, 12 health or more, and he and Topher will tie. So it's kind of a lot to keep track of, but basically... Snuffalupagus needs to win and have at least 8 health if he wants to kind of go to the top group of the next round, which I gotta be honest, I am not super well versed in the structure of this. Another Hired Scots, man. I'm not super well versed in the structure of this tournament, and I don't know the layout of it as well as I did the one that I was actually
I can help with that one.
Yeah, you probably do.
Because, well, originally, the original plan was for us to just encore this round, but Scotsword had to alter it a little bit so as to be able to enforce the rule. No one has the same opponent twice at least in the Swiss stage. Therefore, it's going to be 4 groups of 3, 4 games apiece. 4 games apiece, basically same thing. And then after that, so as to give the players their due, the bottom 8 will compete in the first. Will make the first knockout round, with the top 4 getting a free pass to the next batch to round 2 of knockout. Since the players were kind of promised 12 games before any elimination.
Gotcha. So this group is not. There's no elimination, and the next group there's not going to be any elimination either. Is that correct?
Yes, but okay. To concentrate on the game, we've had Constanta, Varna, Bari, and Rome checked with scouts.
Okay, so yeah. Recently. Well, the thing is, the Constanta and Varna checks, I think, might have been. Well, so he could have been in one, but there's a good chance that Dracula would start, for example, in Sofia and go to Varna, or start in Bucharest and go to Constanta. So there's a decent chance that you might have missed him even if he was about to go to one of those cities. Bari and Rome, that's a little bit better of a chance of catching him, although he could be in Naples. Well, no, he could be in Naples without being in one of those. So, yeah, we've probably ruled out Italy, but we haven't really ruled out much else, I would say.
Yeah, I would say that, as you said, I think a better way of putting it is that those searches were a bit too condensed. It would have been better to spread those out a bit. I would have definitely hit up on Sofia or Valona, possibly, and possibly check only Rome and not bother checking Bari right now.
Yeah. The thing is, I guess you can make more of a case for searching twice in the same region if there's more of a trail laid down, because then you have a good chance of, you can be pretty sure that if the trail is in that region, then you're going to catch it. But in this case, there's just not very much trail yet, so you might want to spread out to kind of check.
There are only 2 places. Yeah, there are only 2 places that is a hit. Mm-hmm. Oh, although on Mina, we're seeing that he did find an early newspaper report.
Yeah, so that's nice. He's at least guaranteed to find the first encounter, or even the first location if it doesn't get misdirected. So this dark call is the first move. That's an interesting one, because from what I hear, this was before my time, but from what I hear, this was a popular thing to do back in, 2022, where people would kind of dark call for their first move, and then
it's actually before my time too.
Yeah, well, so I don't know how old that even is, but it seems like it's kind of fallen out of favor, mainly because it means that your first encounter isn't placed until turn 3, which means that there's, an extra turn has to go by before you can ever mature anything. So it kind of delays your trail. Yes, the misdirect is there, so they're gonna have to wait a while before they find this. But from the perspective of the hunters, that's kind of a win, because now they have an extra turn to supply.
Yeah, they've now bought kind of but they have a full extra day of supplies.
Yeah, so that's 4 extra events, 5 extra items, and Dracula's down 2 health. So that's kind of why I think that meta has fallen out, because it damages Dracula's efficiency and it helps the hunter's efficiency, and it's just not the benefit that you get of them not finding you until later is negated by the supplies that they get, and maybe it prevents them from finding you as soon with a hired scouts or something. But
on top of that, I'm not sure if you mentioned this one, And perhaps I'm only echoing you, but on top of that, there's more ticket economy fixing that they can do.
Yep, yep. Yeah,
So
yeah. So all around, we'll see how this works out, but I do think that that's interesting.
yeah,
That's another thing that, as a more experienced player, he might have kind of been through trying this and seeing how it works, or just kind of hearing from other players that it's kind of been found to have fallen out of favor. But we'll see. And you never know. Maybe he drew a bunch of really good encounters with that, and now he can build up a real nasty trail. So you never know. It's just kind of in terms of efficiency, it's a trade-off that is pretty costly for Dracula.
yeah, that is. It's definitely questionable. Although when I went up against, let me see, I believe when I was Dracula against Geo, was it? Yes, I believe it was when I was up against Geo, who has been putting in a hard effort as well. He's another one I've been helping directly. But when I was Dracula, I started with 2 Desecrated Soils, 2 Rats, and a Spy. The best thing I could place down as my first thing was a Spy. I was definitely tempted to do Dark Call turn 1.
Well, I think a Desecrated Soil as a first encounter is not half bad, because it's worst case it cycles your hand, and best case maybe you get to wolf form or recover a little bit of health. I don't know. I like a Desecrated Soil early if there's nothing. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's terrible.
I don't find it all that for me, in my case, from my viewpoint. I mean, the Desecrated Soil is not all that remarkable, especially since, as your very first encounter, okay. Let's just say that's not the sort of thing I was at least looking for.
Well, yeah, it's not what you ideally want, but if nothing else, the chance to cycle your hand, like, hey, maybe you still have those 3 rats clogging up, or those 3 rats and 2 rats and whatever else clogging up your hand, and you can cycle them with the soil when somebody jumps onto it.
Yeah, that didn't occur to me at the time, which is why I started with a Spy, and then I was simply until I started cycling layers, top decking, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean,
for a while.
Starting with the Spy is not bad either, because if that does mature, then you can smack a weapon out of it.
Yeah, I will sometimes be tempted to put that before my first Vampire. So
oh yeah, for sure.
To give those new people who will watch this recording, in once it is uploaded, an idea of just how good that is.
Yeah, Spy is a great encounter. Especially if particularly when you know that the hunters don't have stakes and there's a vampire they have to kill, or it's pretty great to protect you as Dracula against a hunter jumping onto you. Like, especially if you're concerned that a single hunter might jump onto you, or if you're, maybe you're hoping a single hunter jumps onto you, so you can try to kill them. A Spy can be really powerful.
It's a nice thing to put under a hide card, actually. Because basically, let me put it this way: Spy, barring Unnatural Fog, Spy is the best thing you can forewarn. Arguably that with a tie with Bats as well.
Yeah, depending on the context, Spy versus Bats, because the Bats might kill you, as I experienced last night, once again. But
yeah.
So it really depends on context. But yeah, a Bat wastes a lot of your time, could potentially hurt you. A Spy can also really potentially hurt you if you're having to give up a weapon. Also, did you happen to see what we're waiting for here? He's been on this waiting prompt for a long time. Oh, okay.
Goldaming, yeah.
I wonder if he was AFK. So, oh my god, wait, what is happening?
Oh goodness.
What is happening?
I draw that 5 hit. Yep, he dropped 2 horses.
Did he draw all 3 horses on Godalming and decide not to?
Quite possibly.
Is he just deciding not to do horses because what? That is bananas. I mean, if he's already got like double knife and horse and then draws double horse, like, I guess you kind of, that's a tough choice, but my god.
Well, if he did have the horse and double knife, he should have already traded one to Mina.
Yeah.
5 hit if you come back and watch this.
Yeah, that's when once Godalming's hand is completely stocked with top tier items, that's when you trade.
That's the very reason why you put something. Well,
look at that. See, now he, now maybe that Dark Call. I mean, again, I think he had one of the fogs before the Dark Call based on where they were in the rows.
Yes.
But imagine if the Dark Call had given him both the fogs, and then the Behind the Veil allowed the hunters to get rid of one.
I mean, I have little doubt that is what he's going to get rid of.
Oh, for sure,
Here now.
But I think that there would have been a fog in his hand either way without the Dark Call, but that would be so painful to use Dark Call, draw 2 fogs, be like, oh yippee, 2 fogs, and then boom, behind the veil. And if it had gone out without the Dark Call, they would have just discarded a Bats or a Saboteur.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope that they cycle the deck. But in regards to the horses thing, let's hope that they cycle the deck quickly.
Yeah.
Because for 5-hit's sake, I do want him to get at least get another win. I mean, I've put time into helping him, and let's just say that I want my investments to not go bad.
Yep. Well, I really wonder. I'm very curious to hear what his thought process was there.
Well, yes, I would definitely be curious to hear about that myself. But when I gave 5-hit a practice match early, even before the matches even began to start. And I discovered him with a perfect time newspaper on day when you know what I mean by that. Discovering him to be down at the first Empire down at Valona, Athens, the typical start. And I sent Gul'daming on his way down there, and then 5-hit constantly chose to step right onto Gul'daming to try to kill him. He played extremely aggressively, and between that and the vampire, actually almost succeeded in doing so.
You know, I played against somebody recently too. I forget who it was, but it was another newer player. And yeah, they started in England and walked right onto Van Helsing to attack him. Oh, yeah. I forget who it was. I think it might have been Dano. No. Because that was a Wacky Start Wednesday that I played against him. I don't even remember who it was. But yeah, it was pretty wild.
If I had to guess, I think that it would likely be Topher.
I don't think it was him either. Man, I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. I think I might have recorded that one, so it could be on my channel.
Well, right now the highlight is why on earth did he discard 2 horses?
I cannot get over it.
Yeah, because, I mean, for those of you who may not have watched any recordings before, horses are the primary weapon of the hunters. That is the most powerful card the hunters have. At least so long as you use it correctly. And to see the 2 of them just tossed away like that is just it's just like let's just say that it provokes some unwarranted language.
Yeah, basically the horses, if you've got your ticket deck set up correctly, and if anybody is wondering what this all means, you can go to YouTube, look up Fury of Dracula, horse economy, or fast horses and hunter movement, and you'll find videos by Scott Sword and Quincy Morris that explain all of this in detail. But essentially, if you've got your train tickets set up correctly, then 3 of your hunters can reliably move 2 spaces per turn instead of 1 space, and then your remaining hunter, kind of has limited movement, but they can still potentially get around by railroad. But that makes hunters so much more powerful that it's almost considered essential for hunter play. So not having horses is a huge...
So, yeah, and to toss it away this early, I suppose it's best that he tosses them away this early so that there's a chance to cycle the decks to re-find them. Typically the person that goes without a horse is Van Helsing because he has for those who don't know, he can trade events over long distances. They don't have to be in the same spot for him to do it. And therefore he can be the backseat driver, so to speak, and handing you planned ambushes, heroic leap, all sorts of nice stuff while you chase him.
And also Van Helsing is the weakest hunter in combat, so oftentimes people are happy for him to be not
HP
on the front
wise,
lines,
yeah.
And just kind of hang back and trade events to people.
Yeah, admittedly, sometimes it just doesn't work out that way, but that is the preference.
Yeah, sometimes people will have Godalming not have a horse, because since he picks up 2 tickets at a time, he can more easily move by rail, and then pick up better tickets to restock his movement. And also, since he's got the most health, he can kind of tank the damage from a card like Sense of Emergency if he needs to use that to get somewhere quickly. But generally, I only do that if if the item distribution is awkward and I just can't get a horse into Godalming. Otherwise, I'll almost always go with Van Helsing being the one that is not horses.
Yeah. I will say
Holy smokes! Another notable discard, a knife, and I think that must have been Van Helsing throwing it away. So
yes, that
oh
one.
my.
No, that one would have been Seward actually.
Was that Seward?
Since Mina.
Oh, Mina hasn't gone yet. Yeah, you're right. Okay, Seward.
Okay, so
well, that's wild.
Seward,
Because why would Seward throw away a knife?
Well, actually, that's a bit more plausible because if he also has a lot of good stuff.
Well, but he can hold the extra item. It's much less likely that he's gonna have a full hand of top tier. Like he's much more likely to have crap in his hand at this point in the game, because he draws one card and.
I do know one thing about 5 is that he does like his crucifixes. So.
Okay. Although there's one of those in the pile too, so I don't know.
I mean, likely another Gul'daming thing. In truth.
I see.
So yeah, this is already somewhat baffling. Yeah, that was a Gul'daming discard.
Woo-wee, what a pile! What a pile!
Yeah, so if I had to guess, I also know that he does like his firearms. So honestly, at this point, I'm at a loss of what to say. I mean, Seward might have the one undiscarded horse, and honestly, I could also see him keeping 2 stakes this early in the game as well. But goodness gracious, at this rate, he's gonna have the same thing done to him that I did to you, back when I was Dracula and you were Hunters, eh?
Sorry, I've played in so many games, dude. I can very rarely remember any of them.
Nocturnal Visits, you recall?
Oh yeah, good old Nocturnal Visit. That's
yeah, but more accurately earlier in that match, which I love to go back and rewatch due to, well, sorry for having to rub it in, but I love to go back and rewatch that because of how much of a triumph that was for me, considering how poor a state I was at before then in the tournament.
Yeah.
But in any event, I was quite the wolf breeder then, and you found that out the hard way.
Yeah, man. See, I'm sure that I have rewatched it, but my God, there's just so many videos that I've watched, so many games that I've played. Like the number of hours on Steam that I already have on this game is absurd, and honestly, there's extremely few games that I can remember much of anything about. Probably the only ones that I really remember very well are like the ones that were very, very good or very, very bad. Like my last tournament game with Kachek, I just screwed up really badly and just died extremely early. So I remember that one, and some of my early tournament wins against Mr. Green, because those were very tense and exciting games. I remember those, but honestly, I have a very tough time remembering most of my games.
Yeah. I mean, since I tend to remember my games in slightly more detail, but I always love to go back and rewatch the ones that were the most entertaining, even if it was a loss. But that one was, goodness. I mean, if you have rewatched the recording, then then you'll see that my maneuvering in the East had even when Kajik Peace was in Scott's Sword, who were commentating the match bamboozled for a while.
Yeah,
and that's just a pleasure to know.
Yeah, it's always fun. So now, okay, so this game is moving extremely slowly too. We're kind of sitting here just talking about random other games, and it's still week 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess.
I mean, that will very likely change after tomorrow, as then Mia will be able to use her newspaper reports to unveil the first encounters.
That's true. But at this point, it's kind of still just you sit and supply. What's there to think about? I'm not sure. I wonder if he's doing. I don't know. Does he keep getting pulled away from the computer for some reason? I'm kind of curious what's happening.
Now that you mention it, I suppose that is a little bit odd. I mean, I have seen 5-hit in previous games as hunters start just jumping around. I mean, perhaps, Dr. Stewart has a good hand now.
Well, if he's throwing away knives, he better have a good hand.
Very true.
But the thing, I mean, I guess, yeah, the thing about that is, like, even if you do have a good hand, you still need to get through that event deck, and
yeah, and honestly, the more he supplies now, the better it is for him, because he will definitely, he could basically
he didn't
get
have a
those
good
horses
hand.
back. Basically, you need to fetch your horse wrangler, man.
That's the other thing. Yeah, he needs to be burning through this item deck at lightning speed because he's never going to get horses back without it. And without horses, I just don't know how.
And there'll be one.
Competes. Yeah.
There may be one, but
then at that point, you're kind of setting up your horse economy to either service that one horse, or which only helps one hunter, or you're setting up the horse economy to help people take rail trips, which then makes that horse not very effective. So like, it's kind of a I mean, you kind of if you're not going to use horses, you kind of have to like go all in and just be like, well, I'm just going to be using nothing but rails, and hope that works out for you.
I'm a bit surprised that I'm a little bit surprised that 5-hit has held on to Holy Bullets this long. I mean, perhaps he has the guns to use them, but at the same time, those aren't as effective when Dracula knows their presence.
Yeah, well, he's not that far into that. I mean, he's thrown out one. The other two might still be in the deck for all we know.
The last one, because one is showing on Mina.
Oh, I see. Yeah, good call. Yeah, very possible. That's true. Yeah, keeping Holy Bullets on Mina is an interesting choice because that's a card that's much more powerful when it's a surprise.
Okay. Has just drawn so many events that.
Okay, and she threw away. So she threw away a pistol to keep a Holy Bullets. I mean, that's kind of telegraphing that she's got double guns, but.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you. I mean, not double guns. It doesn't have to be double guns. It could be a knife and a gun.
Quite possibly a gun and a stake.
Yeah.
Because unless I missed it, we haven't seen any stakes in the discard pile.
We have actually. One just went in there recently.
Okay. I stand corrected.
I think Van Helsing threw out a stake for some reason.
I mean, that seems to say that he has one already.
That or he doesn't think he's going to be close to any vampires anytime soon, but we don't know. Like honestly, Dracula could be in Britain right now. We still haven't even ruled that out, unless there's local rumors that I missed.
Well, there was an evil presence when he was at the location with the second encounter.
Okay,
the thing is that could be Liverpool though.
It could, yeah. Okay, so yeah, technically
ruled out. It's less likely with that evil presence.
Yeah,
but it's not ruled out. Yeah. As soon as Dracula makes his move, Mina can spring.
Yeah. Finally know what's
we can finally get our news.
I am extremely eager for that news. It's been a slow week one.
Yes. You and me both.
Okay, newspaper reports.
Alright. Where is it?
Galat. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay. Yeah, he scanned Constanta and Varna with hired scouts, but if he had checked Bucharest instead, because that's a place that you can go to either Galatz or Constanta, he may well have picked up Dracula.
Yes.
We don't know where that first location was. Maybe it was Klassenberg, but yeah.
Yeah. Although considering that Snuff is among the newer, I don't think that he'd have wanted to start right where Mina could have scanned him. Not to mention Dark Calling at that spot as well.
That's true. It's true. He was there for 2 turns. So yeah, probably.
Yeah, so I seriously doubt that. So I seriously doubt Klassenberg.
Yeah.
So if I had to guess as to what the trail is, he's actually following the exact same trail I did to you: Galatz, Bucharest, and Black Sea coast and Sofia.
Yes, he's probably in Sofia now, unless he hid somewhere.
I mean, either that or he simply goes straight down to Athens, because I mean, 5-hit just did do a scan just now, yes. or was that just
he has
was
been
that one
scanning.
night?
No, he has been scanning. So yeah, he's
Okay,
not in
so
Belgrade. We know that, for example.
I mean,
Oh no, he
unless
couldn't
he
be in
just
Belgrade.
moved there.
No, he couldn't be
Unless
in
he,
Belgrade.
well,
No, he
that's the
could.
thing.
Not if you did both the coastal cities.
I mean, yeah, not if he went to the coast, but if he didn't, then he could be in Austria-Hungary. Uh, I imagine Five is likely regretting his choice to toss away those horses now.
I mean, I just can't bring myself to understand what his motivation could have been.
Yeah,
No, wait, what happened to Godalming's turn? I was too busy yapping. He didn't
I
supply because the item pile is still the same.
I'm actually not
Did he?
sure.
What did he do? Did he trade?
I
Oh, look
think
at
he
that.
may
Mina's got for
well.
warrants too. Man, she's been picking up some good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, but showing that is not exactly the best idea. I mean,
Yeah. Well, it
although,
depends. We don't
mind
know what her other
you,
thing is.
yeah, I mean, if that's like a CG or a RV, I suppose I can understand that.
Okay.
But really,
Seward's on the move. Wait, Seward's drawing tickets?
no.
What on earth is
Yeah,
happening?
yeah, Five-Head is sadly not the best of hunters. Even though he makes a decent Dracula, he still has a lot to learn.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, that kind of highlights the most important thing for hunters to remember, and this is often something that you see newer players doing, is hunters' most valuable actions are moves and supplies. And both of those actions can only happen during the day. So that
At
means
least for
that
that.
it's an extremely rare case when you want to be doing anything other than moving or supplying during the daytime. And so yeah, if you're doing something like resting or drawing rail tickets that you can do just as easily at night, like that has to be in a special case where like I really need this health right now, or I really need this rail ticket right now. But at this point, I don't think that's the case. I think
And
they need to be moving or supplying.
and you know what, man? There are 9 Drac events in that discard pile. That is one juicy hoax
Oh
that's just
yeah,
waiting to mature.
I mean that yeah. If this is a hoax,
At this point, there's bound to be something good in there, unless it's like all roadblocks, all false tips. I mean, false tips. I mean, considering the horses, could be quite powerful in this case. I mean, but
yeah.
basically, unless it's like every single one of the non-impressive ones in there, then they're gonna get something.
Oh,
Really
they're
good.
gonna get something good for sure. I mean, they're yeah. Because even the
Oh
medium
goodness.
tier Drac events are quite quite nasty.
I mean, yeah. I mean, for instance, Nocturnal Visit was not rated all that highly, and yet I was able to engineer a situation to use it against you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yet,
There's
yeah. And then I've heard that Roadblock has also made a performance. Great Wolf ended up
yeah. Great
knocking
Wolf.
out
I've seen Great
Hunter.
Wolf kill a hunter before. If you
Yes,
showed
that's
at the
actually
right
happened
time.
during this tournament.
I think I might have watched whatever game that was.
Yeah, as
I don't remember
I've
who
at
I-
least watched the recording of it. I don't recall
Yeah,
exactly what
yeah.
what
I gotta say,
position I was in.
my personal favorite Dracula event to draw is not like the best, but I have a soft spot for seduction, just because if hunters aren't careful,
Just,
basically Mina can't search at all anymore. Like because if it's a vampire, she just insta dies. And if they're the hunters have to kind of pay attention. If they see that they have a hunter search and it is a vampire and a prompt does not pop up for Dracula, then they know that they're clear and Mina can search again. But until that happens, they can't. They literally Mina can't search a single city because she can just die in a split second. Ooh, okay.
oh, nice one there.
Well, that's handy for them. Unless it's a hoax, in which case they're gonna feel very sad.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, speaking of the devil, seduction. So yeah, what seduction does is, if there's a vampire in an encounter when a hunter searches, day or night, the hunter automatically gets a bite. The vampire goes back to Dracula's hand, and again, if it's Mina, she's already got a bite, so she just flat out dies.
Yeah, you'll actually have to give me a slight lesson. What if they revealed Snake?
Nope, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So that's already like nearly half the Drac events in there, and Vampiric Influence is definitely a nice one. I mean, he could use it to get an exact view of the hand, what Mina's hiding, what was so good that made her show forewarned.
Seriously.
Goodness
Well,
gracious.
and not only that, but he can get rid of the forewarned because
Precisely.
Vampiric Influence lets you throw away an item or an event card.
Yeah, or if there's a CG or RV in there, he can choose
Seriously.
that instead.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
massive.
goodness gracious. So already, yeah, so we already know that one alone could just be a completely game changing in this case.
Yeah, normally Vampiric Influence isn't always the best card. Like it's an okay one, but
it's solid. Yeah,
in a lot of situations, it's not that big of a help.
Yeah, Vampiric Influence is one of those Drac events that's always solid, but not like impressive.
Yeah,
But not always impressive.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best way to put it.
But yeah, out of those kind of mid-tier ones, if you consider that like Roadblock is usually a bottom tier one, Wild Horses or False Tip, or Custom Search are kind of bottom tier ones, and Summon Storms is maybe like a low mid-tier one. But a lot of those mid-tier ones, like your Hidden Schemes, your Dracula's Brides, your Seduction, your Nocturnal Visit, your Vampiric Influence, your Enraged is another really fun one. Especially because that one is almost much like Seduction. Enraged is another one that's like almost as powerful as a deterrent as it is for its actual effect. Like once hunters realize you have it, then suddenly they're like having to think very hard about every move because they realize like, oh, Dracula could just cancel whatever my card is. I have to really be careful, and that makes them play differently. And in some ways, holding onto the card can be more powerful than playing it in some ways, or at least a very nice benefit along the way. Okay, so now they cannot get to Galatz unless he's got a chartered carriage. And he's only got one event. So Galatz is almost definitely going to mature here.
Yeah, either that or Sense of Emergency would also do the job.
Sense of Emergency would, yeah. Either way, he's got
one or the other. Mina could well have it, as she has two things hiding there.
Yeah. But it's time for them to start moving. Like, I know they don't have horses, but they've got to get on that trail because otherwise Dracula's going to be maturing encounter after encounter.
Yeah, at least until a vampire wipes some.
Yeah, but again, for all we know, there's not even a vampire early on. He may have just chosen to go the route of laying down a lot of damaging and delaying encounters.
I don't want to even think of that.
Yeah. Oh, there
it is.
Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is, everybody now.
Okay. I am looking forward to seeing Five-Hit take out that hoax.
Yeah, I mean, he better hope it's a hoax with what it's costing him to get there. Because 2 health, okay, not a huge deal, but losing Sense of Emergency this early, you don't want to do that. That's a very helpful card to have later in the game. And if this turns out to just be like a Bodyguard's... Well, Bodyguard's not bad. If it turns out to be like a Saboteur, or like a friggin' Bats, that's painful.
Yeah, I mean... Okay.
Or a Desperate Soil. Even a Spy would be...
I mean, things I would definitely not be a waste for. I mean, if it's a vampire, and I mean, even that is actually questionable. Whether really, it's like kind of only hoax that it would really be worth doing this, considering that you know that there's such a pretty dang good Drac event there.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's an aristocratic vampire and it matures, like, okay, it's 4 points, but it's also a clean trail.
That's also a cleaner trail in this case, but yeah.
But yeah, it could end up being a night fight, which we have no idea if he's equipped for. You have to think he is if he's throwing away 2 horses.
I mean, well, Snuff. See, considering how much Snuff has done his studies, I think that if that were a fighter vamp, he would likely have ambushed.
Yeah, you never know. That's always the question with, if you've got a fighter vampire sitting in a city, and a hunter comes in, like, do you ambush, do you not? Because the question is, do they have a stake? If they've got a stake, you want to ambush so that you can damage them a little bit, maybe get a point.
Alright, so he's actually getting on the move.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, then of course, if they don't have a stake, then you want to make them fight it at night, and you oftentimes don't have a way of knowing if they do or not, so... But it may not even be a fighting vampire.
Yeah.
In fact, my feeling is it's not. My feeling is I feel like it's going to be a hoax, or it's going to be a non-vampire card.
Yeah, if I had to guess, it'll likely be something like a Considering that he dark called first,
Yeah, he had a
we
lot of
did.
options.
We did see. Let me see that. I know he had both mobs in addition to the fog. In addition to both fogs, out of 7 cards, counting both fogs and both mobs, I think he had a saboteur, a bats, and I think a reckless. But
I
that
didn't
was
actually watch it closely enough. I just noticed the 2 fogs and went off on a tangent about that.
I'm just going from the slightest bits of memory. But I know that he had both mobs. That's
Oh,
that's
okay.
one picture of art that does tend to stand out.
Yeah, yeah, mob would not be a bad thing to put here because now you've made Godalming spend 2 health and a good event just getting there, and then he loses health to the mob. And
I mean, yes, but it also gives 5 hits a bit of security, knowing that it's nothing but that, so to speak.
true, but if it's damaging encounter after damaging encounter,
I mean, we've
then
seen what happens when that happens.
yeah, Godalming can get pretty roughed up.
Yeah.
But man, this game, I'm kind of concerned that I may not be able to stick around for this entire game. The amount of time that it's taking for every turn to happen. Well, we'll see how it goes. I have a little time. Yeah, I'm really hoping I won't have to terminate the recording early. Oh, bodyguards. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
solid one.
Let's see what he's got.
Yeah, the next best thing to hoax. At least that's my opinion. And
Yeah, bodyguards is a solid early mature. Okay, he's got a rifle.
okay, a rifle.
So
Okay,
so he threw away. Well, maybe he drew the rifle after the horses, but again, I just can't see anything that justifies throwing away 2 horses. Certainly not a rifle.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see how it pans out for him, but I don't know. I think he may regret that. So now, where could Dracula be now? He probably went Bucharest. Probably went Constanta, Varna, Sofia. So that's Bucharest, Constanta, Varna, Sofia. So he could now be in Belgrade. He could be in Sarajevo. He could be on one of the coastal ports down south. I mean, hell, he could be next to Mina in Sarajevo. Imagine that. At which point he could then wolf form over her if he wants, or he could just hide and let her jump over him, or land on him and beat the crap out of her. There's a lot of things because again the hunters are just so behind now. They really need to start cleaning this trail, and Dracula's in a great position. And even if they find him, they just don't have the movement to get onto him, especially in the east when there's not such good rail connections.
Yeah. This is already something of a bleak start. I mean, mind you, since there have been no rumor tokens thrown down, 1 vampire maturing is not the end of the world.
Yeah, but I just feel, especially if these turn out to be a bunch of damaging encounters, yeah, Godalming could be suddenly incapacitated and unable to move on to new cities anymore. And Mina's got to be, a bit afraid of stepping onto Dracula. She's got to forewarned, but if she doesn't have an escape route, she can still potentially die if she walks onto Dracula's space.
Very true.
Godalming's got no events.
The question I want to know is, where is horse number 3?
He's resting. Oh no. Oh man. Don't rest during the daytime.
That should have happened at night.
Yeah, that's
I think it
guaranteed mature for Bucharest then. Again, unless Mina spends some valuable event to get there.
Yeah, in this case, it would have to be specifically another sense of emergency since he's not on the rail.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, it's a big oof.
Yeah. Goodness. It's sometimes just painful to watch the newer players.
Yeah, well, we'll see how this one pans out. But yeah, so Dracula could be in Sarajevo, getting ready to possibly try to sneak past Mina into the west. He could be sitting in a port, ready to go to sea in case he feels the need to. But the thing is, if that's the case, I don't think he does need to. I think he can just stay on land for a little while. Or he could be in Belgrade. I feel like Belgrade's always a city that gets kind of overlooked. And not a bad place to be right now. Holy smokes!
That was actually Stewart, though.
Is that gonna
Why is... But why is he having Seward do that?
Why is he? And where? All that's just to get to Munich. I mean, you can
And
get
I suppose
to.
that's good to stop. That is, to a certain degree, good to stop in the event he is at Sarajevo.
That's true. It
Wolfing
stops
over
that wolf
Mina.
form. But now that's both sets of
Yeah.
emergencies gone, and that's such a valuable card in the late game. Especially when you don't have horses. Like, you just don't have a lot of ways
Yeah.
to get around.
Yeah. He. I don't know. Unless Snuff makes some very. A very foolish mistake, then. This is already looking very bleak.
Yeah, of course these things
it's
can
hard
turn
to. It's
around.
hard. Yeah, there could end up being
Because,
a C. He could end up walking himself into a CG bomb, for instance.
yeah,
Because
that,
I
or,
don't think
you've got two hunters. There's a lot of hunters in the east now.
we don't have any heavenly hosts on the discard yet. Perhaps you know what, that might actually explain it. What if Goldaming actually had two heavenly hosts at the time, and traded one off to Mina,
And then drew a
because he
rifle.
already had CG.
Possible.
Yeah,
possible.
and rather kept the rifle so that he would have a conventional weapon.
Yeah, that could be, but again, like even a CG here, even if you can catch Dracula with it, which can only happen in certain locations, then that still does 5 damage to Dracula, and then they still have to get the rest of the damage off
Yes,
him.
but what if we're talking about a spot like Florence, Berlin, Prague, Manchester, Granada?
Well, yeah, there are spots that you can CG kill Dracula, but again, it's not CG kill, it's a
Precisely.
CG 5 damage, and then after that, you still have to get the hunters onto him to do the rest of that damage, and without horses, again, just...
Well, I'm simply pointing out the fact that there are spots where landing that CG bomb will mean instant death.
Well, it's instant death if his health is low enough, and if the hunters are in a position to then jump in.
No, Philly. Remember, if you can place the CG token so that even after he wipes his trail, he can't do anything because he's surrounded by heavenly hosts.
Hold on.
There are such places. Places with only 3 rogue connections that aren't ports. There are.
Well, no, because
I left.
That's the thing, because the heavenly hosts only last one night. So...
Yes, but Dracula still has to move before they go away. And if he can't move at all in any way, shape, or form, even after the trail has been wiped, he continues taking 5. There are insta-kill locations.
Well, man, now I'm feeling fuzzy about this. Also, what on earth is happening? Why is this taking so long? Okay, she's supplying.
Yeah, she's just kind of considering what I am event to discard. I am considering that she's showing a forewarned. I would imagine that all of them are pretty good, and therefore it's something of a choice to need.
But at this point, Dracula's just gonna start maturing stuff left and right.
Yeah, I think that she'll be able to stop Constanta. If he deduces that it. Yes, but presumably since he discarded those horses, he won't be reserving white ones and such, will he?
Yeah, well, you hope.
Yeah, so long as he has a 2 yellow, which honestly with Goldaming it's hard to get rid of those. You know how it is. You have to keep the second result, not the first one, and all. And that also often leads to just having nothing, so to speak. Having it to be nothing happens, and you keep your second yellow, your 2 yellow. So in this case, it's a far simpler thing to be solved, and wouldn't really cost him anything especially important.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this.
We'll see what happens.
Because yeah,
Seward is.
We're an hour in and barely. Okay, she's passing.
Okay. Yeah. 5-bet might actually want to start considering nice playing soon because there are 11 Drac events in the discard already, so there's 14 left, and so that's actually odds of like nearly 4 to 1 that it will be. That's over odds over 4 to 1 that'll be beneficial.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I
Or
enjoy doing.
not over. It would be 4-1. It's like odds of 4, 1 out of every 4. So there's like a 75% chance that
Yeah.
it'll be non.
Oh, desperate
Okay,
slow.
that's not bad.
Um,
That's not especially bad. Yes, it healed him a little, but it's not a hoax. In other
it's on the
words,
hooks, yeah.
and it's not a vampire. So, a vampire would actually be kind of helpful.
Yeah, 4-point vampire here, isn't the worst thing that can happen to the hunters, but yeah, they've got to. I mean, again, if Godalming has the right ticket, he can get to Constanta. Stop that, assuming it is Constanta.
Yeah,
And
I would
then
assume
just
so
have to
with how
start
long
moving.
I would assume that so with how long he stayed on land,
Yeah, yeah.
and the fact that he was constantly scanning. Yeah, I would be extremely surprised if it was not Constanta at this point.
Yeah, same. I don't know if it's on purpose that he hasn't matured a vampire yet. I think he knows what he's doing.
XP5 minus 5 hits comments is rather funny. Apparently. The thing is, 5 hits for if you watch this. That's no vampires in the first week and a half.
Huh. No, you're not the
it,
only one wondering about the horses, Snuffalupagus.
that's bad because
Right.
soon you could find yourself facing just a gauntlet of vampires one after another.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, it is not pleasant, especially when Azure turns it into a triple vampire lair.
Yeah, this could be a long one. Unfortunately, that's what I'm afraid of. I only have about another hour tops before I have to go, and honestly, I'm gonna have to start eating during that time, so we may not make it to the end of this game, in terms of this recording, which is very unfortunate. I could contact Scott Sword and see if he might be able to jump in, or Wormtown, and see if one of them might be able to jump in later, in case I have to sign off. But let me actually see about that.
Yeah, you may want to ask one of them if they can, if it's at all possible.
I'm gonna see about that.
Now, so that we know ahead of time, and then therefore they can be on the alert for the need if necessary. Okay, so Goldaming does indeed have the railway ticket to get to Constanta, and that is our next location. Right, that's good. No ambush. The unfortunate thing about the unfortunate thing is that if this one ends up being a hoax, Gul'dan will not be able to stop the next thing, due to the delay. That's what makes hoax such an insanely powerful thing. On the one hand, it makes it that like under these circumstances, at least. Later on, it's kind of trash to be just thrown away.
Yeah, well, it's a nice little delay card. I like if I'm a little bit ahead of the hunters, I like throwing down hoaxes just to slow them down. But yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
it's really, if you're gonna mature a hoax, it's almost definitely gonna be at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Because if you're maturing a hoax later, you're already doing pretty damn well.
I think apart from at the very beginning, like in the very first batch of stuff I threw down, I've only managed to mature a hoax apart from that once, and that was against Altaris back when in a friendly match back when he was a real newbie. So I ended up just having to just toy around with him, not in Austria.
So he may have gone back to Bucharest, or he successfully snuck past them. Oh no, he couldn't be in Berlin already. There's not enough spaces on the trail for that. Because he would have had to go Varna, Sofia, Belgrade. No, he can't be. Yeah, that means he went back into Bucharest, I think.
No, not necessarily. You recall exactly what my trail was?
Well, if he didn't go to Bucharest, how did he get out of Austria? Or no, well, he may just have gone Sarajevo, Valona too. Um,
There's also the possibility of a hide. He may not have stepped
that's
into
true.
Austria-Hungary at all.
That's true. Yeah. So no, he didn't necessarily go back to Bucharest, but he for sure didn't go west.
Oh, that's
Oh,
actually
okay.
use.
Well,
That's
not. I mean, actually, no, it is
admittedly that
useful.
would.
It rules out
Yeah, that would
Bucharest.
have
Yeah.
been. That rules out that he went back to Bucharest. So that means that there's a hide card involved, or
Or he went down
Sarah,
to
or he went to
Greece.
Sarah, or let me see.
He could have
Uh,
gone Sarajevo, Valona, Salonika, or Athens. Um,
actually, here's the thing. He would have had to go Belgrade, Sarajevo for there to be no hide card involved in this, because you can't. If you're going to go to Salonika, you have to go do that first for it to work out.
well, sure, but I'm saying like he could have gone Varna, Sofia, um, Sarajevo, Valona, and then now he could be in Salonika or Athens, or he could be hiding in Valona. Or he could have gone Belgrade, Sarajevo, and not be in Valona.
Right.
But either way, I think we know that he's in one of the three cities in Greece, or I guess Valona is not in Greece. I think it's like Albania or something. I don't know.
Well,
But
yeah, he's down that southeast corner now.
yeah, so we know his location, but again, without horses, how are the hunters gonna get there?
General location,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's the thing where if they had horses, the hunters could capitalize on that potentially. But since they don't, well, he may end up forcing himself to sea, because he's not going to be able to get out of there without misdirecting something. So he's probably actually forced himself to sea, which is a bit unfortunate for Dracula, but still, the hunters are tied up with this trail for a long time.
Wait, Goldaming, why didn't you search?
Also a very good question. Also a very good question. So yeah, another third mature.
Well, second mature, as Galatz was eliminated.
Oh right, the bodyguard didn't mature.
Then again, a matured bodyguard is just the same effect as just finding it.
Yeah. Well, but the key difference is you can use it at the key occasion, which can be pretty brutal.
I'm not sure why they didn't advance it all.
I am not either.
This is just a puzzle as to what's going through Five Hit's head.
Yeah. Well, again, if Dracula, let's say Dracula's in Valona right now, then he can move to Athens, hide, and then go to sea. And I mean, he can, wolf form out of even the Tyrrhenian and be far away from the hunters while they're busy with his trail. He's still not in a bad position at all.
No, not at all. He definitely is in the driver's seat in this game for the time being.
Sure. Or in the carriage driver's seat, as it were, since there are no horses to help them. Woo.
Yeah,
Another scan. Okay, well, he's not in Austria-Hungary, but again, I think we kind of knew that at this point.
Yeah. Mind you, he could still be in a position to, or no, Sofia. If he hid at one of those three salons, if he hit at Sofia, he could actually be in Valona, ready to step back into Sarajevo.
Oh, true. Yeah, he could have gone Sofia, Salonika, Valona, hide. Yeah.
Yeah, and a hide mixed in among those three. So it's possible that he could be stepping into Sarajevo, but he is not yet there. So. Okay, so that is likely, a mob. Okay, in that case, the fact that he doesn't search doesn't really matter all that much. In fact, if he was resting, if I'm not mistaken, then that has actually turned out better for him in the end. So lucky for him there. But you gotta start searching stuff, Private. Because you can't let a hoax slip through. And with possibly there are at least 11, if not now more. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, still 11, but there's 11 Dracula events, at least one of which we know is definitely pretty good. Okay, rumor token down, finally. That would be, let me see, Varna, Sophia. That would be either Salonica. That actually could be. Okay, so we know that that's not Athens because he couldn't have laid down two things after that, so he didn't go. So that would be either. I think that either way he. This is actually a bit.
Yeah, my guess is he's in Athens now, but he could, like you said, he could be in Sarajevo.
I think that my current guess is that the trail is Varna, Sofia. Due to where he placed the rumor token, I'm going to say Varna, Sofia, Belgrade, Sarajevo. No, he would have been picked up like that way. So after Varna, Sofia, did he just slip that down and hope that they let it go by? Because for them to, I'm assuming that last one is a hide. So with 4 moves from Varna, or I'm going to guess that it's going to be a hide at. It can't be a hide at Sarajevo. They've been scanning too much for that to be the case. So I'm going to guess that it's going to be a Salonica, Valona hide, and then he just now stepped into Athens. And before I rumored his hide location? That seems to be a fair assessment.
Could be.
That does make sense. Sofia, Salonica, Valona, Hyde, Athens.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable.
Still supplying. Why? Still supplying.
Especially in a small town like that. What are you doing? You should be advancing.
Yeah, you gotta check this trail.
Gladon can't deal with all of it alone. Let alone, Mina, your forewarned could be handy. He's stepping into Valona. Especially if that's.
The thing is, she probably can't get to Valona because with what horses?
Well, admittedly, they have time to reach Valona before that ends up being what's threatening.
Oh, sure, yeah. Not this turn, of course.
It'll be another like 2-3 turns before it's threatening to slide off.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm guessing that that's going to be from what we saw from Forewarned, we know that he had access to the fog, to the second fog, even though he discarded one with Behind the Veil.
Yeah. Question is, after seeing 2 horses get thrown out, do you even bother placing a fog just yet?
I think you might, so as to protect a vampire.
Yeah. Sure could.
Especially if you're going to invest the rumor token.
Yeah, well, actually, hey, maybe that could be the logic. You might be right. Like, he's like, well, hey, they've got. You know, actually, maybe it is a vampire in.
And especially since.
Hold on.
Yes, it would be at Valona.
Yeah, it could be in Valona with a hide, and then, or wait, how could that be? No, he can't. No, it couldn't. I don't think it could be in Valona with a hide, unless the river is the hide.
I count with me 1, 2 for Sophia and Salonica.
Yeah.
And then Sophia, right? And then
right, yeah, and then Valona, Hyde, and then Sarajevo potentially, or Athens. Yeah, you're right.
I would assume Athens, but Yeah.
Honestly, I would fully go to if I'm Dracula. I'd fully go to Sarajevo here. Because again,
Uh,
the hunters find you, you escape his
especially,
bat, and then
but
they're trying to.
in a event to continue with the logic, he knows that there is only one stake discarded. So, and since there are only 6 cards left in the draw pile, he can. It's totally logical to assume that some of these guys have stakes.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So therefore, that is why you would place the fog down.
yeah. Delay them, and especially since they can't get there as quickly because of again no horses.
Yeah. At this point, I'm guessing that the last one is in what's left of the draw pile.
Yeah. Also,
That's only a guess.
Dan Helsing moved to Leipzig, and I'm really wondering if he got mixed up and thought that there's a road from Leipzig to Prague when there isn't. But the board kind of makes it look like there is, at a glance.
Well,
Because the way that road like arcs out in a really weird way between Leipzig and Nuremberg almost looks like it's going to Prague, but.
But on the other hand, it's also possible that he's going to be using the rail to get down towards the southern coast.
Yeah, could be. Okay, still supplying.
Goodness gracious.
Why did it take him so long to supply? Okay, this is making me insane.
Yeah. Now please search. Come on.
I did hear from Scott Sword that he's not going to be available to take over recording. We'll see if Wormtown says he's up to it. But maybe just not catch the end of this game. But the way it's starting off,
I'm definitely available to just stick around, even if it won't be part of the recording.
Oh well, yeah. I just I'll have to stop recording. I mean,
yeah. But well, are you kidding me? Or is this a search? Waiting for him to reveal a stake, maybe?
He's supplying.
Night supply?
Well, it's a safe night supply because of Mystic Research, but still.
I mean, true. I had forgotten about that.
Well, assuming that they've been counting their safe resupplies, which I have not. Hopefully the hunters have.
But once again, not a search.
Not a search. Nope.
And now
no, imagine if that's a fog, and then he just traps Godalming in Varna.
Sigh.
Okay, well, he's not in Sarajevo, so that settles that.
So Athens.
Yeah, it's got to be Athens. It's always Athens.
Daryl wants to say I told you so when he sees this recording on YouTube.
Alright, I don't know how many times they've night split. I think that might be 4 already, though. So if they're not counting and they keep doing that, they are probably going to start handing Dracula some sweet event cards
maybe, but there's the fact that half of them have already been discarded.
Yeah, true.
We got a very
lot in there. Okay, he's still not in Austro-Hungary. Shocker.
Yeah.
Okay, he probably goes to sea here, unless he dark calls again, which would be hilarious.
I mean, there could be a feed just to stay in place a bit longer.
No, you can't feed with full health. I'm not sure if the physical board game would let you, like the rules so that you can do that, but in the digital version, you can't feed if you're at full health.
Right, I had forgotten about the desecrated soil healing him. So yeah, I suppose it'll likely be into the sea we go, unless.
Yeah, unless he misdirects something and he's in a place that we're not thinking of somehow.
Well, no, that's simply impossible with that local rumors that would have revealed Bucharest and all the scanning.
Okay, so he's on Ionian Sea, and I assume he's going to go west. He could go north and then wolf form out of the Adriatic, which again that risks 3 hunters kind of being pretty close to him. But again, no horses, so what's there to be afraid of?
Yeah. I mean,
okay, let's see what the sure is. Oh, he just layered it.
Okay, so that seems.
Is he gonna go to the Black Sea and land back on Varna?
That's actually an interesting question.
That
implies to me that was something like a bats or a rats.
Yeah, probably that. Because going back by sea to the Black Sea is pretty iffy. even against slow hunters, even against hunters without horses, like that's a pretty iffy thing to do.
Yeah, if they've got an effective CG, which there still are no heavenly hosts, which would imply that he may well have CG already.
Yeah, I mean he's like a good distance into the event deck now because all he's been doing is supplying instead of moving. So, yeah, reasonable chance he's got
Mostly, yeah.
CG.
So, okay, let's just hope that he just doesn't continue like this.
Well, he's got to go to Sophia now, I assume.
I mean, yeah, he'll know that since there's no wolf form or anything like that. And wouldn't it have been fun if he had wolf form from Athens to Sarajevo?
Well, that's another thing. He didn't necessarily need to, and I'm not even sure if the hunters realized where they. Okay, so he's had a horse this whole time.
Okay. I guess he actually just night supplied. I'm guessing he just picked it up.
That's possible. That's very possible.
Which confirmed my earlier guess. Which confirms my earlier guess that the third one was in at those bottom 6.
Yeah, I need to look at that away. That is nice play.
Nothing all that remarkable. Just pistol and such.
Okay.
Nothing that would make a real.
Okay, so he's going for it. Yep, there it is.
So even if he gets fogged.
And the bats. Okay, so not
bats.
a fog, but the fog could be on Athens for all we know. Now, if there's a nice little vampire sitting on Sophia or Salonika, he might get himself a night fight.
Yeah, but the thing is, I wouldn't send him to Sophia, even if that's a vampire, as a just. But then again, if there are vampires there, why on earth would he put the room token at Valona?
I mean, yeah, it's.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Okay, and now he's going out of the east. Which
I
guess I kind of agree with because you do need to get hunters back to.
Yeah, you gotta get your Coast Guard ready.
But like, did the whole reason that he came there was it just to keep scanning at night? Like, I don't know what was. Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
So now he's gonna use a rail ticket, get down somewhere.
He could get as far as Zurich. If he's just hoping to go south to form a Coast Guard. I mean, at this point, I might consider just continuing the supplying for a bit longer until you get the reshuffle, and then try to locate the horses. Mm-hmm. Because
he needs his horses.
He needs his bed.
Oh, just a normal move.
Yeah, not even a railway ticket. Interesting. Now what will Mina do? Just continue
she has to move into the east, right? Unless they're just gonna keep letting stuff mature like they've been doing. If they all move out of the east as Dracula, I would be strongly tempted to just wolf form. Oh, is that just to get onto the rails so she can get to Salonika?
Possibly. Although she'd need a chartered carriage to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. He's going to Sophia.
What's it gonna be? Oh,
more
another bats. Oh shit! And now he's gonna. That's what the Lair in Varna was. It's gonna be a double damaging encounter, and he's gonna drop Godalming onto that.
Yeah, he was intending for Godalming to step onto the bats.
Right.
Yeah, he's made quite a nice Batmobile there.
He sure has.
That's actually something I like to do. Put both the bats right next to each other.
Yeah, keep chaining it up. I guess the one downside of that is then you don't get the full effect of them because you kind of miss out on one of the delays. But
kind of.
It's still pretty fun.
Yeah,
okay, more night flying. But the thing is, I don't know if they have any more safe night flies. Yep, there it is.
Apparently they don't. Okay, it has the option to be played immediately, at least.
Ooh, if it's Vampiric Influence, you could mess with Mina. Oh no, it can't be.
Well,
That's in the discard.
Well, there are actually 2 copies of that one.
Wait, Vampiric Influence, really?
Yes.
Oh. You know,
So
it's funny. I have no idea how many copies of things there are in the... Like, I know there's 2 roadblocks, and I know there's... Ooh.
Great Wolf.
Oh my god, he's gonna hit Godalming with it. Oh, or not.
No,
Okay.
going for ally.
I thought he was gonna hit Godalming, because then...
I'm having a glitch that's not allowing me to see exactly the health totals right now.
Oh.
So how healthy is Godalming?
Well, he's at 6. So I was gonna say, if you hit him for 4 with the Great Wolf... Again, there's a good chance he has the Heavenly Host, so it might just not hit him.
Yeah, so honestly...
But then if you hit him for 4 and then drop him
onto
onto Varna, and it's a double mob or something, like...
I honestly agree with his decision to go with ally, because... I mean, there are no Heavenly Hosts in the discard, and only 1 Crucifix, last I saw. So yeah, there are 4 items that could block that.
Yeah.
So do you really want to risk the 1 shot and simply for revealing the Heavenly Host, your Dracovan is nothing? But
yeah, I mean, find out who has the Heavenly Host. But the thing with allies is it's still kind of the same thing. Like you have a 1 in 4 chance of finding somebody who doesn't have those things, and then
yes, unless 3 have Heavenly Host and the 3rd, and the last one has a crucifix.
Yeah, that's possible too. So I think his odds of doing damage are pretty low regardless. But the other thing about allies that I think new players should know this is that it's almost never a good idea if you do draw an ally card as Dracula. It's almost always a bad idea to pick the ally ability because the hunters have a card called Good Luck, which is usually considered a trash card, but they can play it as a free action during their turn. Like they can do that and then still take another action, and it just throws away any of Dracula's allies. So if hunters, and there's 2 of them in the hunter deck, so there's a good chance that at any given time hunters may have a Good Luck. So for that reason, Dracula almost never takes the... And also the ally effects are usually worse than the play immediately effects. Because like Emmanuel Hildesheim, it's like, okay, you might get a card every round, but you might not.
But apart from that, it's
a bunch of cards.
But in this case, I definitely agree because if nothing else, it will definitely be good for scouting out who has them, which players have them.
Yeah. Okay, so Seward's got
Seward has one.
Surprise, surprise. Again, I'm kind of surprised he didn't hit Godalming with it because there's a chance of hurting him, but then dropping him onto the double lair over there. Which again, we don't know that the lair is double damaging encounters.
Considering the double horse discard, I would say that he is more likely than anyone else to have 1, if not even 2.
True.
So I actually agree that you want to scout out the other ones. Actually, since he chose Seward, I might have actually just accepted the damage. After all, I mean, you're Seward. At night you can rest.
That is true.
I actually, in that case, I would have actually accepted the damage.
Okay, so he could be in the Black Sea, the Adriatic, or the Tyrrhenian. Tyrrhenian
under
is kind
under the circumstances, I seriously doubt that he will have.
Oh, now hold on. Oh, so Godalming was delayed and batted, but the delay wears off first, and then tonight. So actually, yeah, the double bats does get you the full effect of both cards. I was wrong about that.
Yeah.
So now he's gonna get dropped onto Varna for a night.
I seriously doubt he would have gone Black Sea with how he's been playing this Batmobile.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that will be Tyrrhenian, and then he'll wolf form across to Marseille, if I had to guess.
Yeah, or from Tyrrhenian you can wolf form to Venice. It's not that great of a wolf form. You can go to like Venice or Milan. And again, with hunters having bad movement like this, I feel like you can be pretty free as Dracula with where you go.
Yeah.
Especially he could go to Venice and play a fog, or go to Milan, play something to protect himself, and then try to bat away. Because how are they going to get more than 1 hunter onto him? They can't really.
Yeah, it would take like renewed vigor with more. And we see both sense of emergencies that take renewed vigor with charred carriages. Specifically at this point. Until they retrieve those horses, which, granted, they are getting closer to doing.
Yeah, I mean they're still supplying, and I guess for Seward that is kind of the right thing to do because people in the east are the ones that have to worry about the trail. But at this point, Salamanca's going to mature. Athens is probably going to mature.
Uh, Athens, maybe not. Godalming has a horse
That's true.
now.
He may be, yeah, he may be able to. If he's
So,
still, well, the thing is though, again, if Varna has a double damaging encounter on it, Godalming could be down to like 2 health. Oh, good
oh,
luck, and that's why you don't pick allies. But live and learn.
yeah, that event is usually rather trash, but lo and behold, here's
Yeah,
the
it's
usual
kind of
circumstances
the
that.
one good thing it does is get rid of, or a roadblock. You know, it's not the worst thing. If Dracula does happen to get a roadblock, you can just snipe one. It's kind of fun.
Yeah,
But it's actually an
it's
interesting meta. Like, the reason why Good Luck is considered a trash card is because Dracula never gets... Well, it's because Dracula never gets events if you're playing properly as hunters.
yeah, unless you're simply unlucky and he matures
Unless...
a hoax
Yeah,
right
or if you just
away.
have to Night Supply for desperation. But...
Yeah,
Yeah, generally Good Luck is considered one of the worst cards along with, like, Blood Transfusion and Long Night that you pretty much throw away in favor of almost anything else.
yeah. I mean, in my personal opinion, Long Night is the worst of the lot.
Yeah, I think that's the
Uh,
consensus, because it actively gives Dracula cards if you aren't careful with it.
yeah.
Even if it does
I
work correctly, it doesn't. It helps you find his trail potentially, or like block positions off, but like, yeah, it's not great.
yeah,
Okay, so
Long
Mina's
Night
still just
is
normal
the.
moving.
So now he's likely, almost certainly, going to get batted into Varna,
Yeah,
and then jumped on by whatever was there.
I
At this
can't wait
point,
to see what it was.
I'm guessing it's a rats along
So
with like
excited.
wolves.
Oh, a wolf.
Okay, we know
See,
he
he
has
for
a
sure has a
rifle from
weapon, so
earlier.
he's not gonna die to whatever's in here.
Yeah, we know that he has a rifle. He showed that up top
Yeah,
at
so he's got a rifle
Galats.
on the Heavenly Host, I'm guessing. But if it's a oh, another wolves, yeah, so he's gonna take 4 damage. So now he can't safely go into Athens. That's the thing, or Valona.
I
This
mean,
is
Bologna.
with 2
Well,
health. It's so easy to die.
yeah. I mean, mind you, yeah, just gonna. I mean, if he doesn't want to lose that third horse, he's going to have to just sit and rest for a day or two. Okay.
Yep. So he has to hope that Mina can somehow get to Valona with a stake.
I.
Otherwise, that thing's maturing.
That's unfortunately just impossible. Since both sense of emergencies are gone.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's impossible. Yeah, Valona's maturing.
Yeah. Without those sense of emergencies, that thing's just maturing. Nothing you can do about it.
Wowee. Unless it's a renewed vigor that gets Seward or Van Helsing to Venice, and then the excellent weather to Valona. That's the only possible way Valona doesn't mature.
Either that or made it with a charred carriage with that. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
But it would cost a little renewed vigor.
Yeah.
Is it really worth it at that point?
I mean,
Considering that there's no influence yet, I think that I might simply accept it. Try
yeah.
to simply focus on the where he is now, as we are now nearly to the end of week 2, so they
Can you
do have to consider.
imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine Dracula
Snuff.
did go to Black Sea, and then Valona matures, and that means Ionian is back off the trail, and he can now escape that way again if he wants to.
I mean, yes, but Black Sea wouldn't is the thing.
Oh well, but that doesn't matter because he could just escape to the west this time. I mean, again, it's a remote possibility, but I always like thinking about these goofy possibilities of things that can happen
Hey,
or could happen.
Hey, JB, look at what they're saying.
Are they shit talking?
I mean, just take a peek at what they're saying. It's just very amusing. Yeah. Weirdos.
Well, I just wish they would take less time chatting and more time moving, because I am pretty short on time here. What can Seward possibly be thinking about here?
On the bright side, there's a decent chance the hunters do have a renewed vigor. After all, they've gone through nearly half the deck.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there is a decent chance.
Yeah, they're almost halfway.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dracula gets another mature. Question is, does he go back to Landa now? Honestly, a wolf form from Adriatic or Tyrrhenian in this scenario, not bad, because again, what are hunters going to do? There it is, yep.
Yeah. So if I were the hunters in this case, I would take advantage of the fact that you still have one more week. Before he starts scoring points.
Yeah, I mean, they have to cut their losses and pounce him. That's the only hope.
I mean, I would, in this case, play the Renewed Vigor to stop the 7, or 6 or 7, because that cuts down on their time. So I would try to deal with that with Renewed Vigor, and then I would just try to find those horses ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, Renewed Vigor is Godalming is delayed, so he's not going to benefit from it. He's not going to get any turns. You could, if you have Charted Character, maybe you can get her to Valona, and then the other guys can start investigating cities over here, because, you know, he could be in Marseille. The cities that Dracula can be in right now are pretty limited. It could be Marseille, it could be Milan, it could be Venice, it could be Florence. Yeah, I mean, it could be like Bari or whatever. It could be Cagliari. Or it could be like
I honestly could see him doing
Sarajevo.
I actually couldn't see him doing a Tyrrhenian to Wolfhorn to Bari crossing by Adriatic to come back.
Yeah, possible.
I actually could see him doing that.
Yeah, but the point is, there's like not that many cities, and they've got to start checking them.
Layered it. Okay.
Oh, another one. Good lord. So yeah, maybe he is planning to come back.
Guessing that one would be a Saboteur or Rafts.
Yeah, that or he does want to come back east.
Also, it's, I mean, either that also, or maybe he wanted to put a Saboteur there, possibly knowing that a chartered carriage to Salonika then into Valona is the only way.
That's true. That's some 4D chess. That's some 4D chess.
Yeah, and I don't know if his thinking power is that high, but I don't.
Yeah, it may have just been not worth maturing, or that's always the question. Is it just that he didn't want to bother maturing it? Maybe it was a vampire too. Like maybe he did put double vamp, but then didn't have a chance to put a rumor down. I don't know.
Possibly.
Who could know? Probably
he could.
Not us, because I don't think I'm going to be able to stick around for the end of this game to find out what happens. I've got a little bit more time, then I've got to fire up some food in the microwave, and then head out around 6, which is 27 minutes from now. And it's taken like several minutes for every single hunter to move, so I just don't know how much further we're going to get.
I will definitely be able to start week 3, that's for sure. But
yeah,
after that,
because usually this is the point of the game where the turns start to slow down, but they've already been like ice glacial pace. So I can only imagine what's. Okay, so what I was saying, yeah, the possible cities Dracula can be, and not counting ports, are Milan, Florence, Venice, any of the Italian cities, or Sarajevo.
I
would start by checking. Geneva? No, it couldn't be Zurich or Geneva. But they could start by checking Milan, just to rule that out.
Yeah, and yet, I think maybe they still want a supply. It's,
I mean, I'm sure they do, but at this point they've got to catch They've got to catch this vampire, man. They gotta.
Yeah.
Again, I would. That's why I would check Milan, is just to rule it out, because that's kind of one of his optimal routes of slipping past them. Would be to go to Milan, then you can get to Geneva, or Marseille, whatever. But if you check Milan, if you can check Genoa, that kind of rules out that he's sneaking past you to the west or north. And if you know that's not the case, then you can start to home in on Italy, maybe check Sarajevo just to rule it out. But you gotta check. Okay, he's checking Venice. Not the first one I would have checked.
Valid, but...
It's valid, but I would have checked Milan first. Because if he's in Milan now,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, he's checking Milan. And it wasn't
Okay.
Milan. Okay, interesting.
Okay, so, respectable moves.
Yeah, could be Florence. Which... The odds of him getting... That is a CG kill spot, but the odds of him getting discovered as being in Florence seem quite low. Because they can't narrow it down to any of the Italian cities, again, or Sarajevo. They can't rule those out at this point.
If 5-Hit knows that, then he might want to just roll the dice and try anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, because if he did come from Tyrrhenian to Italy, and he's not in Bari, you could still potentially seal him in with a CG, and then get these two on him.
If nothing else,
doctors.
you could, even if nothing else, if he proves not to be in Florence, by placing the initial token there, if you place an initial token in Florence, you can test whether he's there.
Yeah.
And then you can use the other 3 heavenly hosts to steer him towards you.
That's true, yeah. Force him to stay in Rome, for example. And then you could potentially jump onto him with these two, if they have the right... Oh no, of course, they don't have the right movement, because they're both of them are too far away by rail, and there's no horses. So actually, yeah. If he's in Rome...
carriages... If they had chartered carriages, they could.
Okay, well, check this out. He did check Sarajevo, so that was something he was thinking about. So now we know that he's in... Well, unless he's in Genoa, he's in either Florence, Rome, Naples, or Bari. Or Cagliari. It could be Cagliari.
There's also Marseille.
True. Or Marseille. Right. Yeah. No, see, I was mixing up Genoa and Marseille. Yeah, Marseille is a possibility.
Yeah. Oh.
Tickets.
Okay. Not sure exactly why he's doing that now, but...
Many question marks in this creation.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hey, at least they're doing things quickly now. This is refreshing. Okay, so, yeah, check Sarajevo. Vallona's going to mature. That knocks... It gives him hide back. It knocks the Ionian Sea off the trail.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, we didn't rule out the possibility that he could currently be in Bucharest. So I think it's unlikely, but it's certainly possible.
It's possible, but with where they were like surrounding him, they would have been like surrounding him at the time.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not like a good thing, but it is a very, you know, ballsy thing, move with a lot of swagger. And if it was Bucharest, man, it's paying off right now. Oh, okay.
Aristocratic.
Wasn't even a fighting vampire.
No wonder you put the bats.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, Dracula's feeling pretty good now.
3. Oh yeah.
My god, Godalming is still at 3 health.
Yeah.
He's out of commission. He's like not gonna be worth anything the rest of the game.
Yeah, so Godalming's purpose should just be supplying to try to find things like scouts, newspapers, like anything that Van Helsing can fetch from him.
Yeah. Or RV. They need RV and CG. I haven't even been watching to see if they have dawn prompts.
This time they didn't.
Ooh,
so they don't
seriously?
have it right now.
Wait. Holy crap, wait. So that means they've been through almost half the deck. And
they
haven't drawn either RV. Yikes.
Sadly, that is the truth.
Sure hope they have CG. That's rough luck.
I seriously hope they do have CG, because with that they have a chance. But it'll be a matter of using it properly. I mean, even I, who am among the quote-unquote seasoned players uh, of this tournament, I still often use that somewhat a little prematurely.
Cuts critic ground. Oh, another day heal. Oof, don't do that.
I
Okay.
mean, I can't completely blame him there.
I mean, he does need the
I'm
health, but
sure.
he needs supply. He needs supply. If Godami's not gonna move, he has to supply.
Okay.
I've got to start getting some food together, so there might be a bit of background noise here as I work on that.
All right.
But I'm hoping my laptop is fully charged, so I won't run out of battery mid watch. Okay, so Seward. Well, somebody has to check Marseille. You want to check Florence too, but I feel like Marseille at this point, Marseille seems like the
I
biggest
would have. I would
possibility.
have. I would have Suri go to Florence and Marseille, and then Helsinki go to Marseille.
Yeah,
And
I
if
mean
it turns
Marseille's a
out
big one that you really have to
want,
check. Like if he's in Italy, then that kind of hems him in a little bit more. But if he's in Marseille, if he went to Marseille, you have to know that. You have to find that out and start doing something about it.
yes, but considering that they don't have horses, what else can they do?
Yeah, not well. That's the thing. Without horses, they just can't do a lot. And this is really underlining the importance of fast
Yeah.
horses.
Yeah, this
It's
is
just
really underlining that the real killer blow to 5 hits, unless something miraculous happens, is that double horse discard at the beginning.
yep, yeah. That's you're practically giving away the game.
Yeah, he just threw it. Those horses were carrying his game, and he just threw them.
Okay, Seward, what's it gonna be? Doo-doo.
No. Okay.
Okay, so
if
check
he would-
Genoa. Right. But
Yes.
that's really telling him.
But since it was
What
a
he needs
wolf
to know.
store, that's not exactly the ideal spot to check now. So Van Helsing, yeah, good.
Yep, check my.
Oh.
Oh, it was not Marseille. Okay. That is interesting.
Yeah.
So, I am starting to. Well, again, maybe Florence, but he may have just gone
Yeah.
to Naples. I mean, he could go Naples, Bari, Rome, and then be ready to escape to Rimini if need be.
No, he'd have to go to Rome before, or Bari and Naples.
No, if you wolf farm from the Adriatic, you could go Naples, Bari, Rome, and then to Rimini down on the track.
Right.
Pretty shortly, my leftovers are gonna be heated up. I'm gonna turn off my microphone just to not treat people to my eating noises, but I'll leave the recording running as long as I can, so that you can continue to commentate, and we'll capture as much of the game on the video. But in about 15 minutes, I'm gonna have to jump off completely.
Gotcha.
But hopefully, it'll be an action-packed 15.
So, Nina honestly is too far, in my opinion, is too far away to help out. So I would just draw an event.
Yeah, she's out of position again. No movement.
Yeah, I would simply try to find a scouts. Because I think we had 2 of those early, but there's still 2 others. Or you could draw an ally that you could use for a search.
Yeah.
Which we have not drawn any of.
Definitely useful.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
and she
I see.
went.
She's actually going to come across what I see.
I mean, yeah,
So,
if she's anticipating an Italy move, that could work, or she might be planning to go to Italy herself. We haven't seen any excellent weathers used yet, so she may have one.
yeah.
Okay, another rest.
Okay, now he's above 4, and therefore could start moving, although I don't think... I mean, since he has a horse, maybe he could get there.
Yeah, he's the only one with any movement.
I think
Okay,
that what I... I think what I
I'm
would
gonna
have
go
him
on mute
do...
now. But continue talking. I'm here on the headphones, and I'll turn my microphone back on in a second. In a couple minutes
Okay,
once I'm done.
gotcha. In, in
Discord.
any event, what I would do in his place is I would have Gul'damin horse down to Mina and pass the horse on to her before she goes over there. That way, someone who is more healthy can be holding it. Uh, and then they can use that movement, make renewed vigor like worthwhile. I mean, it's a tough spot for the hunters. I mean, unless he wants to do a ticket exchange, then I would simply pass with Seward. I mean, you're in enough trouble already without giving Drac more events. I it's I mean, I don't know. And granted, it's decent odds for getting a hunter event, but hmm. I mean, you gotta. I wouldn't be all that surprised if. I on in the event that Drac actually did dare to go back to Bucharest. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised to see a feed from him soon. I or even if he is down in Italy, we might see that. I mean, he knows that there are no horses and all. Therefore, that actually might be something we may see. Especially if it's in preparation for another dunk into the water. So what's it going to be, Seward? I supply a ticket or pass. Hmm. Stuff making a remark on trying to get me back on the CG news. That while I didn't see their other match, that implies that their other match was settled by Snuff's CGing in Five It. So perhaps it is why it's taking a while. And yet Five It replies, I don't think I have the cards for that. I don't think I have the cards for that. That seems to imply that he actually is not carrying around CG, although it is very likely that he has all three Heavenly Hosts. And there are no Heavenly Hosts in the discard, so therefore, we know that unless there are like two Heavenly Hosts at the very bottom of the deck, that he has. Except that thanks to the Great Wolf, we know that at least two people have them. Seward and Gulam have both shown. As for Mina and Van Helsing, we don't yet know. So there could still be one hiding at the bottom of the deck, but the others? But we know of two. So CG is a real threat for Drac.
Okay, I'm back, and my god, it's still Seward's turn.
I think he's
finally.
maybe. I think that. Okay, only for a ticket. But. Yes. There's chatter on it that leads me to believe that potentially he doesn't have CG on him. Although we know, although as you likely just heard me saying, we are guaranteed two Heavenly Hosts, as Gul'daman showed one, and Seward. Oh, the feed as I anticipated, and Seward have both shown a Heavenly Hosts for. Or did Gul'daman show one?
I
know that
can't actually recall. I think we just kind of assumed that Gul'daman had one. So I think he must be in a safe spot by now, because let's say that he wolf formed to Naples. Now you could be in Rome. Point is, he's in a city that he can escape to by sea, so he's not as worried about the fog, which makes sense.
Here's another thought. There's also wolf forming ashore at Valona.
Yeah, again. Or wait, no. He couldn't have done that this time because Mina checked Sarajevo.
Right, but then again, there's also Black Sea Bucharest.
Well, right, yeah, we haven't ruled out that he went to Bucharest. Listen, I've got to go and put in some contact lenses, and I'm gonna just leave you alone with the recording for another second. Then when I get back, I'm gonna have to cut it off. But hopefully, some fun action happens during this day phase, and I'll be back shortly to
Let's hope so.
Enjoy the chat.
Let's hope so. Okay, supplying. I like that. Come to think,
it just occurred to me that I won't be able to skip the video through any horse prompts or similar. Let me just mute myself.
Come to think of it, a newspaper would actually be useful about now. Okay, what did he discard? Garlic and a rifle. Okay, so he may no longer have a rifle. So he needs to check Florence with Seward. Because if the Wolfram location isn't Florence, then then again, it wasn't necessarily via Genoa that the wolf form happened. So it could, as JB said, it could be just southern Italy in general. We just don't have the necessary information. Discarding to go to Rome. He's not there, at least not yet. However, that does rule out Florence, as they have been at both Venice and Genoa. And he didn't get tied back until after the move after the wolf form. So that's not a hide. We know that. So, therefore, it's either Naples, Bari, or he's just sitting pretty up at Bucharest into something else. Which if it's the latter of those two, things are just not looking good for the hunters. Not sure why you could do that. I mean, it's movement, but it's too slow. Now, what is he gonna do with it now? That's a question. Okay. Oh, then Shane. See what this is. If anything. Also, he's considering what to discard. As his hand is full. Okay, Marco. He'll likely pick up a railway ticket with Seward, as he spent one. Yeah, Van Helsing, I don't know, just pass.
Okay, folks, I'm back briefly. Doesn't look like too much happened in the intervening time. Yeah, I don't think that they've actually ruled out Florence, because he could have gone to Florence, and then once Seward left Venice to check Genoa, then he could just go to Venice. So it's entirely possible he could be in Venice, but at this point I am starting to think he may have done the sneaky thing and gone east, or they might have just gotten unlucky and he went, maybe he did a fake wolf form into Bari, and then went to Naples, or vice versa.
Well, it actually wouldn't have been a fake one to go to Bari, but...
Well, depending which sea he came from. I mean, we don't know which sea that is on the trail.
True. Yeah, I'm just not liking how this is looking. I mean, we'll see if what I mean. Uh oh. Oh,
Ooh,
that looks
interesting.
like a bar. Okay, so that does actually
Okay,
mean that
well,
if nothing else, this recording can end with a bit of a cliffhanger.
yeah, man, I am tempted to stick around just slightly longer. I'm just gonna do everything but walk out the door and leave this on because I'm curious. Just curious to see what the trail was here.
It would appear to me that that was. I mean, basically, it depends on it's Naples and Bari. That much is clear.
Yeah, for sure.
But the order depends on which sea it was. I, considering how things stand, I would guess that it was Adriatic and he's going on to Tyrrhenian. Otherwise, I think he would just toss down a hide. Because with as little amount of movement they have, I'm sure he can get him, sure he can step on him if he guesses correctly. But then, well, he's got 2 encounters facing him alone, most likely, unless Van Helsing has a chartered carriage. And Mina possibly in excellent weather, if it's Bari. So I'm more inclined to believe it was Adriatic.
Yeah, so he would have just gone Adriatic fake wolf form, Naples, and yeah, he could be an Adriatic now, but yeah. If he is, that kind of locks him into going to Venice, so he certainly should hope that it's not.
Yeah. So the bombing ought to supply.
Yeah, nothing else really for him to do here. Anyway, I do need to run now, so I am going to terminate this recording, but maybe in the comments, once I get around to posting the video, you can jump in the comments and let everybody know, put some spoiler tags on it, or some big spoilers in all caps. Let everybody know how it turned out.
Alright.
Yeah, I do have to run, but enjoy watching the rest of the game, and take care, good commentating with you, and I will catch you later.
See ya, JB.
Uh,
Pleasure